Man, I tell you what, I have lost almost 12 pounds. And Tom Chenault tells me I lost that because I'm not eating biscuits at the Maple Street. But I tell you what, they are a rock stud company now owned by Cracker Barrel. It is an American success story. Two partners came together about 6-7 years ago. Neither one of them really with restaurant experience. They just had a dream. They had an idea about bringing just down home camaraderie, down home eating back to the community. I think one of the cool things about this company is the fact they truly are community focused. During this great American shutdown, Maple Street continued to support the community. They worked with Cisco and some of the other food purveyors and literally put together baskets of food at a reasonable cost, including toilet paper, napkins, hand sanitizer, chicken, you name it, they had it. And my hat is off to them. I love the fact they're some of my long-term sponsors. You don't every day get that opportunity, and it has been great. Also want to do a shout out to one of my other sponsors, Richard Brook. Richard has got a brand new training going on. You can see it on my wall. I put it up here today on Facebook, so you guys can check it out. If you're wanting to prepare yourself in your network marketing business as you go and get ready to propel forward, now is the time. Richard is the author of the 4-Year Career. He is a successful CEO, a successful distributor, and over the last at least 25 years, I think his true passion has come out as he has led so many people forward in their home-based business. It is a powerful thing. Hey, let's get right down to it. How was the month of April for the network marketing arena? Now we're running public numbers, we're running some private numbers, we're looking at this, we're making some phone calls. Listen, I do not do near the job that Direct Selling News is doing, social selling news. They've got some really deep pockets, really good reporters. But on the grassroots, on the ground, as we're talking to our clients, we're talking to friends that run companies, we're talking to the people in the field and saying, look, how was your month of April? We're right in the middle of this pandemic. We're right in the middle of the fear that people have. The numbers are rising. The media, I don't know if the media knows how to put out a positive anything anymore. It's frustrating. But the question that I've been asking is, where are your numbers at? We literally have some companies in the month of April that are having the best month ever. Several companies are breaking the $1 million a month mark in their business. Now listen, this is what was very intriguing to me. Their enrollment numbers weren't that high. They said pretty much our enrollment numbers have stayed the same. We're not seeing a giant influx in that. Sales have been through the roof because I believe people are saying, look, we truly need to get our health in order. We truly need to get our lifestyle in order. We already know that people are eating more fresh cooked foods. They're figuring out ways to make that to work. They're being very conservative. They're trying to figure out everything that's going on. And I believe that's why we're seeing sales up. Now, our sales up across the board in the United States. And I want to look at the U.S. first, and then we'll go national or international on this. We're seeing sales up in tangible companies. The skincare actually is going up. We saw the supplement industry going up. Essential oils are through the roof, okay, just exploding like crazy right now. And I believe it's because people are starting to observe, they're starting to read, they're finding out what's going on. Here's another thing that we're seeing. I believe because people are inside their home, one of the reasons that essential oils is going up is people are looking to have a shift in their emotional state. So they're using different organic, different natural oils. They may have an orange blossom. They may use a cedar wood. They may have a tea tree. And I think without truly knowing what the medicinal properties may be of these oils, what they can do, they are starting to at least get it for that mood enhancement. And I believe that's a positive. I think anytime somebody focuses in on their health, it's tremendous. We're seeing a little bit of an uptick, and we talked about this in March. We're seeing an uptick in food sites that are out there with recipes, sites that are out there talking about the nutritions in foods. A lot of the diet or lifestyle eating habits, keto, paleo, carnivore, Mediterranean, South Beach, Atkins. We're seeing a lot of people asking questions. You can see this at the supermarket also. You're starting to see magazines come out trying to differentiate between these different diets or lifestyles. And I believe the reason why is because everyone's DNA is different, and people are starting to realize, okay, the keto lifestyle is not working for me because of the way the eating is. It's not there. So they're shifting a little bit, and they're moving over and they're checking out the paleo, they're checking out the Mediterranean. They're trying to find something that will fit their new lifestyle. And that is tremendous. Anytime somebody is educating themselves on what they need to do, it's great. We're seeing an uptick, a little bit of an uptick on education sites, Teachable, Masterclass. Some of these, we're starting to truly see how this is exploding. And it's because people are at home. They're watching their kids be educated online, and they're saying, wait a minute, we need to be online too. We need to be educated too. And they're looking at the greatest courses and all these. Now, here's something that's interesting. Because of this trend shift, we just saw Facebook come out on Facebook and Instagram with the ability now for producers like us to be able to actually add. I can actually add somebody now who will talk with me, who will sit there, and I can do an interview. And we're seeing this more. This was a feature they had out a long time ago. Now they've brought it back. So I think it's because we're getting more and more into that side of things. Now, we also saw an uptick with Zooms. Everybody's seen that. It's across the board. We need to be careful with Zoom. They're doing a lot of improvements. A lot of marketers, a lot of salespeople have been using Zoom. If you're a corporation on here, I would still say look at WebEx or some of these others, because the Zoom technology isn't secure. I mean, literally, the security factor there is not what it should be. So now that everybody is at Zoom, I guarantee you're going to see some hackers. You're going to see some guys trying to do stuff. You don't want to jeopardize anything from corporate. So just be cautious is all I'm saying. I'm not saying don't use Zoom. I'm just saying be cautious there. Know what you're getting into. Make sure that your system admin, your CTO is digging deep in what's best for your situation. Average person, it isn't going to matter. Okay, y'all are good. It's great. An area inside of direct sales that I want to talk about, and I talked about this last week, but I think it's very, very important. If you're out here marketing, and matter of fact, let me just back that up a minute. I don't care what business it is. I just saw this with AAG and Tom Selleck on national television. It's a beautiful commercial. I posted on this, but it's an issue. If you're out here marketing and you're using phrases such as, we can protect you against COVID-19. We have immune boosters that will protect you from coronavirus. If you use something along the lines of pandemic proof your income, anything like that is going to put you in the crosshairs of regulators. They have plenty of people sitting at home now not working. So they're looking at stuff across social media, across websites. They use artificial intelligence, just like a lot of the companies use artificial intelligence. So you need to protect your company, and you need to protect yourself against any type of issue. Last week we saw 10 great companies get letters sent to them, and the regulators now are using social media like you guys do, like I do as marketers. So they push this stuff out through press releases, shoots out across, and now people either are trying to gun for you or they want to use it against you, stuff like that. They're not just after direct sellers. They'd send plenty of letters out before that. But this is important because a lot of times, at least when I was building, organizations, and I've been on social media long before it became the trend, we saw it back then. It's always been something. So what you don't want to do is say, well, everybody else is doing it. It's been going on forever. It doesn't matter. Their ignorance is no excuse of the law. Getting in front of a regulator or a judge and saying, hey man, everybody else did it, I was just going along with the crowd, is going to open the door for them to say, great man, if the crowd's going over a cliff, you cruising with them? Because that's what you just did. So please be careful out there. You want to dominate. You don't want to be just a has-been. So make sure if you're doing marketing that you're doing it correctly. We're hearing rumbles. That's all this is just some rumbles. That regulators are starting to look at the crypto heavier again, at the Forex, at some of the mining stuff that's been going on. Here's the reason I believe this is true. This month, May, is the halving point where they're going to half again in Bitcoin. Any of you guys in crypto have seen a little bit of the uptick in the coin prices, going from 6 to about 8, fluctuating sometimes at 9. They're looking for, this is my opinion here, they're looking to see who is going to cross the line. Who's going to go out there and start saying, hey, come over here to us and we will guarantee you're going to make lots of money. Again, using the coronavirus, doing all that. Same thing with traditional companies on income claims. Okay, you listen, there's plenty of documents that I've put up on my wall. You can text me, message me privately. There are a plethora of stuff written in common everyday language on how to build on the internet, making claims, using testimonials, as an endorser. It doesn't matter. There's stuff there for you. So you want to be very careful not to cross the line. The frustrating part is sometimes we really don't know what that line is. You can use the phrase, be a full-time stay-at-home mom. That's an income claim, because most of the ladies, most of the moms can't afford to be stay-at-home moms, except during the pandemic, and then you don't have a choice. But you get my drift. You see what I'm saying there? It's tricky. Yes, it can be done. Something that I'm going to suggest you do, but you got to be careful on this, is that if you're in the supplement business, watch some of the ads about some of the drugs that are on TV. Focus in on those when they come on. Hallmark Channel has a bunch of them. You probably go to YouTube and just see these ads. Listen to the ads. Look at what you see in the ad. Look at the surroundings. Look at the context. Look at the setting. Look at all that, and then listen to the words, and then listen all the way to the end, and listen to the disclaimers. In the supplement business, you have to put up the FDA disclaimer. You need to link back to your company's site where that disclaimer is. Same thing with income. So guys, I don't want to berate that a lot, but it is so important for your protection. You're not just protecting a company, you're protecting you, your personal brand, you're protecting your family's reputation. Once it's on the internet, it's really, really hard. Well, it's impossible to get it off. You can shove it as far back as you can, but it's always going to be there. So why take the chance? Most of you that are watching this morning, most of you that will see the replay, y'all are in a home business. You're on some type of a home business franchise, network marketing, direct sales, party plan, whatever. You do this part-time, and you don't want to screw up your life because a part-time endeavor costs you a full-time income somewhere. It costs you a fine or a penalty. I have a dear friend of mine. We've been friends, now for almost a decade, I think. He was a company owner, top producer in a company. Phenomenal idea. Matter of fact, Apple ended up buying the technology after the FTC shut this company down. That's how powerful, but it was before its time. He didn't have money for an attorney after the FTC came in and shut the company down. He defended himself in court. The judge actually said, for a lay person who's been an athlete his whole life, you put on the most incredible defense. Sadly, I'm going to find you guilty and you owe us $1 million. An individual. I have another friend of mine, one of the early marketers on the internet, ended up paying a $500,000 fine. And I'm telling you this because I want you to understand it's not just the companies. The companies are out here to protect you. They're doing great. And like I said, my small clients to my large clients are having the most successful months in their business because people are hungry for products that work. They're hungry to change their life. So if you do this right, if you don't have to hype it, you don't have to be a poser, you don't have to fake it, you can build a successful business. And a lot of those customers, if you will follow up with them, you're going to find that some of them say, hey, I'd like to do this part-time, or I'd like to get my products for free. Hey, what can I do to do that? Listen, you've got a great opportunity to be able to do that. Okay, so just keep it good. The industry in America is looking great. Let's look international. Asia is still just a bad spot. The pubcos are showing a decrease still. It's not picked up yet. I believe that we will see a lot of that international trade pick up afterwards. Now, there are some pockets where we're going to see some upticks, and that's because we have some U.S. companies that are going to go ahead and expand into Asia. They think the timing is right. They have some great contacts. They have some really good people on the ground, so they're expanding. We'll see how fast that takes off. Asia's a little bit different. Europe, still on a shutdown. I don't think we're going to see an uptick there till sometime in July. Could be June, but right now it's flatlined. Doesn't mean that sales aren't going on. Doesn't mean anything like that. They're just flatlined over there. And I don't, it's a whole different culture there than Asia from the U.S. So you get some of this stuff. You just got to kind of watch where it goes. But if you're in America and you're building, it's great. If you're international and your team is growing, hey, send me a private message. We'll talk about that next week because I think that's important too. I want to look at one last thing. I put it up here. What about politics and religion in this, postmodern world? We're in a pandemic. Has the thought changed from the old days, the 20th century mindset that, hey, if you're in business, if you're in sales, if you've got a brick and mortar, don't ever talk about politics and religion. And it's interesting because we're seeing that anyway. I mean, think about it. If you go and post a comment, if you go and answer a comment or anything else, you're kind of already breaking that down. But in the last 45, 50 days, we've seen a shift across the internet, if you will. We saw a shift between professionalism and personal life. That was mandated. You didn't have a choice. You saw reporters sitting at home. You saw CEOs sitting at home. Kids running in the background. Cats jumping up on their lap. Dogs barking. I think we finally are starting to become a little bit more real. We're breaking down what the media sometimes and politicians will play on, saying the elitist and the average person. I think what we're seeing is that elitists put on their britches the same way we do. So far, we've not seen any of them in the bathroom, but I mean, they didn't even know how to use Zoom, and so many people are teaching them. So we've already saw this breakdown between this. We're seeing companies who thought everybody needed to be in the office at 8 o'clock for a meeting, starting to use Microsoft Teams. They're starting to use Facebook a little bit more. They're starting to use Skype. They're using all these different communication mechanisms. In talking to a few people, literally they've set their little office up in the house. They work on tight teams, so everybody's just leaving the communication channel open. And if they need somebody, they yell, "Hey, are you by your computer, Troy?" Or "Hey, are you over here, John? What's going on?" And that way they kind of get, "Hey, we need to talk. What do we got going?" And they're honestly, people are saying, "Look, we're collaborating better. We're getting more stuff done faster. We're taking some time off." That's a huge one right there. This may be something that we learn, and I'm still staying on track with the religion and politics. But listen to this: you may learn better time management coming out of this. as a homeschooling principal, can't tell you I did all the teaching. Paigey did all the teaching. But listen, we understood if we wanted to do something, we're going to get it done in the morning, and the kids loved that. They'd get all their schoolwork done in the morning, and they had their afternoons to go play and hang out and do what they wanted to do. And some of you guys already know, our kids, we've got kids in college and everything else. So, I mean, it's a great time. And I think some of the teachers probably are starting to say, wow, maybe I could start a side hustle, a side career. I could do tutoring. I could help people that want to teach at home, and I don't maybe have to go back to school. I think we're going to see a shift coming out of this between that. So the professional and the personal's already shifted. And I believe that this cockamamie myth that you don't mix politics and religion, I think that probably went out a long time ago, but it's really showing right now. It's not all positive. So I do want to make that clear. With as much conspiracy theories that can explode. And we've seen these. Man, I'm 56 years old, so ever since I've been reading, you used to see them in the back of magazines, in the classified ads, and now they're just all over the place. And we're seeing it's really a cottage industry, if you will, where people get donations. They put up all these websites, they do all this stuff to mix their political views, these conspiracy theories, and they're kind of fun to kind of cover sometimes. It's kind of like watching a Discovery Channel or something on something weird. So, everybody's looking at those, but then they're going and posting this stuff, and it's going viral. And on a typical day, you can see the most liberal or the most conservative, the most religious or the most liberal, secular people mixing in their religious or non-religious views and their political views. And people, for the most part, are not turning away from them in business. And I'll use myself as an example. I don't want to use anybody else. I've got just a dynamic friend. I mean, he's like a brother now. We have been hanging out together on social media in the direct sales arena now for almost 20 years. Lawrence Michael Young, just a phenomenal guy. Lawrence and I mean, we agree, we disagree, all kinds of stuff. It's just awesome. And when it comes to politics, there's a lot of times that we don't agree, and we talk about it openly. He'll share something, I'll share something. He'll give me something, I'll share it back. Totally respectful to each other's views. But when he's got something he needs, and I've got something I need to find out about, and it's about his organization or direct sales or a company that he's with, we're there for each other. You don't always have to agree on politics, and still you can be friends. That's what this is. And I think the more and more people see that, the more that you're not acting like a jerk to people, the more that you respect other people's opinions, their world views, and you understand, hey, this is a centrist country. Okay, you don't always have to agree. Even an Andre scoundrel like Corey Richards, who is just a dynamic advocate and news reporter, all in his own right. Him and I never agree on politics, religion, or anything else. He's an atheist. He's very liberal. I'm a conservative, born again, love Jesus. We don't agree on that at all. And yet you see us interact constantly in a professional manner. If you guys will do the same thing, you can talk about politics all day long. And honestly, your downline, your upline, your companies, your customers are going to appreciate your authenticity, as long as you're respectful and don't act like a jerk. Now, religion's the same exact way. Okay, and I'm not talking about religion and you got to tolerate what everybody says. I'm not saying that. You have a firm foundation, a firm belief on where you stand. Prime example, I believe the only way to get to heaven is to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior and truly turn your life over. You can't just believe in Jesus Christ. Satan believes in Jesus Christ. You've got to walk that walk. You've got to realize that you are a saint that sins. You're going to screw it up. You got to have accountability, and you're just going to try to be the best person that you can be within the context of the Bible and the leaders that are in your life. You may not believe that way, and you may spout something off that is totally against that. If you do that respectfully, people are not going to get red and radical. I have Muslim friends, I have Buddhist friends, I have friends that are atheists, I have friends that just don't they don't know what they are. They're agnostics. It doesn't matter. If you're authentic and you're professional in your delivery to where you're not being a jerk, again, you're not being an intolerant, nasty person, then you can mix this stuff into your social media. You can talk about it. If you go onto someone else's wall and they're talking about a liberal view in politics, and you start calling them, you mother, blah, 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 crap all like that, listen, man, if they defriend you, if they slam you, if they come over to your wall and do the same thing, well, you know what? You deserve that. You come into my house, crap on my living room floor, I'm going to beat the snot out of you and tell you to go back to the hellhole you came from. That's the same way in social media. This is somebody's house. This is somebody's wall. Okay, so you need to be respectful of that. If you're talking about religion and you have a different view, I'll use an example here on this. Corey Richards, as I said, he put up an image not too long ago, just a nasty, scathing image from a Christian worldview. It was about my Jesus on a cross. It was just bizarre. And I look at some of the that Christians made, and I just thought, man, why would you do that? I mean, here, you just feed into the propaganda. Instead, Corey and I, we have this great conversation, and I ask him, why do you do this stuff? Why do you put that up? Here's what I believe. And as we shared, I said, let me give you some resources that you can watch, you can read, you can hang out with. I was very professional. I'm not gonna expect people to come up to my level. I'm gonna go down to theirs a little bit. And I'm talking just religion right now for a second, because that, in my opinion, that's what Jesus did. He went and hung out with people, talked to them on their level, and moved forward. One of my greatest songs, If I Could Drink a Beer with Jesus, What Would I Ask Him? And I tell you what, it's a pretty impactful song. You can go look it up. Same thing with politics. So if you want to mix this stuff together, do it in a professional manner. Because if you don't, and then down the road you're having a private conversation in public, and somebody overhears you talking, they might look at you and say, well, why don't you ever talk about this stuff? You talk about everybody else. You talk about everything else. You put up pictures of your family. You put up pictures of hot men. You put up pictures of girls. You write about conspiracy theories all the time. So why don't you do this? People are looking for authentic people. People want to hang out with, be friends with, do business with people that they love and trust and want to hang out with. You don't pick your neighborhood pub because it's the only one in town. You'll find a neighborhood pub that you like, even if it's in a neighborhood. You want to hang out with people that you enjoy. That's the key here in social media. So guys, I want you to have a great weekend. The Florida beaches are open. Man, it's great to see people literally walking up and down the road with a smile on their face. It's fresh. They're starting to feel the bubble of that American tenacity, that American spirit coming out again. I'm hearing this across the board in other countries where people are saying, okay, we are making it through this. We did it. And I put a meme up today that hit me pretty good, because it said adversity came to town and we looked it in the eye, and we're not going to blink first. And I believe that every Main Street entrepreneur, every common citizen in every country, that's exactly what we're doing right now. We're not letting the fear keep us down. Guys, have a great weekend. Remember, act justly, walk humbly, love mercy, and through it all, love always wins. We'll see you the first of the week.